First thing I would do for this car is to go to front view by pressing 1 on the number pad, and we're going to start with a circle. It can be really hard to add in circles later on, so just starting with the circle will mean that that part's out of the way, and then you can just build everything else around it. So we're just going to go to create, and we're going to choose a circle. I'm going to change my vertex count to 8. You could use a different vertex count if you wanted to, like 10 or something, but I'm just going to go with 8 for now. Then we're going to tab into edit mode. We're going to do RX and then 90 and press enter. We're going to do S to scale this down, and we're going to position this on the right side here where this light is. So we're just going to use S to scale, G to move it. Try to center it as best you can and scale it out. You're going to want to try to line it up with this, not the inner circle, but the one that's just outside of it. So just try to get it matched up with that one. Once that's done, we're also just going to add in a mirror modifier. So go up here, you can middle mouse click and drag, and then click on this wrench right here, add modifier and choose mirror. Turn on clipping and turn on this option, so now we can see the light on both sides. So we're going to go to side view by pressing 3 on the number pad, and we're going to try to position this a bit better, so just bring it back on the Y axis. Just left click on the green arrow and drag it back. Right about there is going to be good. And then you can see it kind of comes forward and it goes in a bit. So we're going to do E to extrude, right click to cancel, bring it forward to match up with that. And if you want to, you can do Z for wireframe so you can see it a little bit better. So just bring it out to the furthest part here. Then you're just going to do S to scale it down some because it does have sort of an inward curvature to it right here. Then we're going to do Alt right click to select this edge loop. We're going to do E to extrude, right click to cancel, and we're going to bring this all the way to the back because this curvature kind of follows all the way to the back. Like it has a rounded curvature at the top all the way to the back. So we want to make sure we keep this rounded curvature all the way to the back. We're going to add in a few more edge loops. We're going to do Control R, left click, and we're going to bring this to where this part of the door is and then just bring it up. You could even Alt right click here and bring this one up some. We're going to adjust this back piece in a minute. Then another thing you want to look at is if we go to top view by pressing 7 on the number pad, it has sort of this outward bulge, like it goes out and then it curves back in, and you can see it in the picture a bit where it goes out and then it comes back in. So you can see the lighting here, the shading, where it's going to go outward and then it's going to come back in. So we have to have an edge loop relatively close to here so we can create that outward curvature. So we're going to do Control R, left click and drag this to the front to right about where that curve starts. And then we're going to take these inner 3 vertices right here and we're just going to bring them in this direction some. If you want to, you can go to top view with 7 on the number pad and Z for wireframe and just match this up basically the way that it should be. And then we're going to need to start bringing this back inwards, so we're going to need another edge loop like around here. So we're going to do Control R, left click, place it about here, and we're just going to bring this in. It also gets a bit skinnier here, so we can do S and then X and scale it in on the X axis and just bring this over. And you might want to scale it out again if it's a little too small. Do S, X, and scale it out a little bit. Just go until you match the reference relatively closely. And you're also going to want to do something similar right here. So we're going to Alt right click, bring this over, S and then X to scale it in. And again, just line it up with the reference. To correct this back part, we're going to Alt right click, and we're going to do Control 1 for back view, Shift H to hide everything else so we only have this back circle. You're going to use G to move it into position, S and then X to scale it on the X axis, so now we're getting this more oval shape. And you can do S and Z to make it a little bit taller, and you're just going to keep scaling it like that with S and Z or S and X until you have the appropriate shape. You also want to do your best to center this, so the bottom vertices should be touching, the bottom part, the top part should be touching the top part, and the same with the sides. So just do your best to center it. Once that's done, we can do Alt-H to unhide everything, A to deselect everything. I'm going to do Z to get out of wireframe. And we can see in my case, my normals are messed up. So I'm going to do A to select everything, Control N, that's going to recalculate the normals. And I'm also going to tab into object mode, and I'm going to go to Tools, and I'm going to turn on Smooth Shading so that everything looks a bit nicer. At this point, I'm just going to save it, so we're going to go to File and Save. Thank you to our awesome Patreon supporters. If you'd like to become a Patreon supporter yourself, head on over to patreon.com/StephenBrooks. Thank you for your support.